Hi guys, welcome to my channel Confessions of a Gaming Mum. So I thought today I would do a reaction video on the PS5 tech reveal. I thought it's all very exciting, looking forward to what they actually have to say. So let's see what they have to say, shall we?
There will be lots of chances later on this year to look at the PlayStation 5 games. Today I want to talk a bit about our goals for the PlayStation 5 hardware and how they influenced the development of the console. It was clear that the presence of a hard drive in every PlayStation 4 was having a positive impact. A lot of things that would simply have been impossible at Blu-ray disc speeds were now possible. If all your data is in one block, which is frankly not very likely, you can load 50 to 100 megabytes a second, depending on where the data is located on the hard drive. Let's assume it's on the outer edge, which means loading a gigabyte takes 10 seconds. We support zlib decompression on PlayStation 4 that gets you something like 50% more data on the disk and 50% higher effective read speed. This is one of the reasons that 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 feels right for PlayStation 5. The presence of the SSD reduces the need for a massive intergenerational increase in size. Conceptually, check-in is a pretty simple process. Data is loaded into system memory from the hard drive or SSD. It's examined, a few values are tweaked to check it in, and then it's moved to its final location. To reach our bandwidth target of 5 gigabytes a second, we ended up with a 12-channel interface. 8 channels wouldn't be enough. The resulting bandwidth we've achieved is actually 5.5 gigabytes a second.
I mean, in all seriousness though, I do feel sorry for the guy because everyone's slagging him off for being boring and not exactly being very, what's the word, like motivational speaker. His original talk, or the talk that he gave, was actually meant for GDC, which is a conference that my husband keeps getting invited to, but he hasn't been to yet, in California, which is like where all the geeky techs go from gaming companies. So yeah, he's used to dealing with an audience that would actually appreciate what he has to say and would actually understand what he was going on about. So yeah, give the guy some credit there. But again, as my husband is quite geeky in terms of like he deals with all that stuff in like in gaming, I asked him afterwards like basically what the guy was going on about, and he just basically gave me a list of all the new tech that's in the PlayStation 5, so I could just like run it off and then just talk about like different parts of it. So this is the list that my husband sent me, so see if you can actually keep up with it. So the specs for the PlayStation 5: CPU is AMD Zen 2 based CPU with 8 cores at 3.5 GHz variable frequency. GPU 10.28 TFLOPS. I don't know if it's anything for 21. 36 CUs at 2.23 GHz, again variable frequency. GPU architecture custom RDNA2. Memory interface 16 gigabytes GDDR6/256-bit. Memory bandwidth 448 gigabytes. Internal storage custom 825 gigabyte SSD. IO throughput is 5.5 gigabytes, that's raw. Typical 8 to 9 gigabytes compressed. Expandable storage NVMe SSD slot. External storage USB HDD support, but that's only for PS4 games only. And optical drive is 4K UHD Blu-ray drive. So what I'll actually do, I'll put an image that my husband has also sent me, which compares the PlayStation 5 to the PlayStation 4 and also to like Xbox and Switch and stuff like that. So you'll see it like here or something. I'll put it up so you can actually see. And this is him trying to basically explain to me what this all means, because again, I'm just like, is it pretty? Do I get to play my old games on it? And that's about it. When it comes to my consoles, I really don't pay that much attention to the tech on it. So yeah, so this is what my husband's actually had to say. So it says, so basically Xbox has the raw power advantage on all parts except hard disk storage, where Sony has got the very fancy, very fast SSD, which is solid state drive, no moving parts, which is about 50% faster than Microsoft's version. This only means faster loading. which is nice, but not entirely a game changer, especially as this has to be coded for. And with only 825 gig of storage, this will run out and the add-on drives won't be as fast. Backwards compatibility, PS5 will play the majority of PS4 games without any issue. If any games don't work fully, it will most likely be the publisher or the dev teams that will need to release a patch to fix that. This will be to fix like timing issues caused by the faster hardware. Games can run too fast and animations can break, making some parts impossible to actually play. So I think for me, like the main thing that, I think everyone knew that was coming in terms of with like the loading times and stuff, like being faster and everything. And like if you've watched my Last of Us playthrough and you watched the very first one, I think I sat for nearly 5 minutes on the loading screen waiting for it to load up. So that would be a fantastic thing to have, but I do think that pretty much the majority of PlayStation gamers that I know, the one thing that they have been relying on for years from PlayStation or from Sony was for them to bring out a PlayStation that was actually backwards compatible for all games, like what you've got with the Xbox. And my husband, like we've had a discussion about this before. So when I was holding out for when the PlayStation 5 like when the official news came out, but my husband was basically like, don't count on it, because it's like the technology's moved on with I'll explain it. My husband's put it into better terms than I could, but yes. So I was like, my husband said, yeah, don't count on it. So obviously now it's official. I'm still really disappointed. There was that small like tiny smidgen of hope that we might actually have something, but yeah, my husband does a better job of explaining it. So I'll share what he put. So he said PS3 games are incredibly complex due to the nature of coding for the PS3 hardware. Lots of custom chips and parts which to emulate simply caused an insane amount of headaches, so essentially didn't happen. PS3 was able to play PS1 and PS2 games at the beginning of its generation as they put support in for the chipset at a hardware level. Later revisions took some hardware out to save costs and removed the PS3's ability to emulate so easily. So hold on to those early PS3s, because because that's what I remember. I remember like my original PS3, when I bought it, it was fully backwards compatible, so I was able to play my PS2 and my PS1 games. I do remember when I first got it though, that it really worried me when I tried to play my original PlayStation 1 version of the original Tomb Raider, and you could hear like the PS3 was really struggling. It was like going I'm trying to play this game. So I stopped playing it for a bit because I was like, oh, I don't want to break the game or my PlayStation. This is the first PlayStation I'd actually bought with my own money. Is when I first got a job. I think it was my first paycheck actually. I bought it. But then I think they brought out a massive update later down the line, and when I apprehensively put my Tomb Raider disc into it, it played fine. So I remember that happening. But then my PlayStation 3 died a number of years later. Me and my husband were trying to do a live stream, like co-op, of Lara Croft Guardian of Light, and it died. Like, it just killed my PlayStation. I don't know if it was like because it was working with the Elgato soft like hardware or whatever, and it just killed it. I don't know what happened, but it just died like through this live stream, and I was absolutely devastated. But then my brother-in-law, my husband's brother, actually gave me his old PlayStation 3 because he'd recently updated, I think, to the Xbox. And I think his is the newer version, so his isn't backwards compatible. However, I am able to play the old Tomb Raider games on there because obviously they still had the digital version on the store, so I was able to play it that way, which I don't think you can do on the PlayStation 4. I don't know. My husband seems to think that you can, but I don't think you can. Comment down below if I'm wrong or if my husband's wrong, because like settle that argument, because I'm not entirely sure. Because I'm pretty sure they took them off the store for like when PlayStation 4 came out. I don't know. Like I said, you might know better than me, so yeah, just comment down below. But anyway, yes, so that's what I remember with the PlayStation 3, was that it was the original PlayStation 3 that actually had the technology to play PS1 and PS2 games. So my husband continues. PS4 should have been able to play PS1 and PS2 games easily due to hardware power, but would need to create an emulator as the drive cannot read PS1 discs, so would need a digital emulator created. All work on Sony, which they have not historically been great at. PS2 games have been released via emulator on digital store, as PS4 cannot read PS2 discs either. So yeah, that's basically, it's just the disc drive, or like, just cannot read the discs. So basically the story is, or the gist of the thing is that like Sony have, or everyone's been counting on Sony to get the hint with the PlayStation 5 that people want backwards compatibility. They have wanted backwards compatibility since it was taken away from them with the second generation of PS3s. But in order to do that, they'd have to make like a super beefy emulator to be able to create that. But rather than do that, Sony has ignored people's pleas again, and what they've done, they've concentrated on 3 things. First thing is their Super Uber SSD. Second thing is 3D sound, which most people won't even notice a difference because that's just how the human ear works. And the third one is that they want to be able to let people play PS4 games, so we're getting some backwards compatibility. So they're making it that, what was it my husband was saying? Yeah, they're making it like, I think a lot of people were giving them slack for the fact they only said like the top 100 games will be playable, like PS4 games will be playable, but I think they're just saying at launch, so people will have games to be able to play at launch. But obviously it's going to be more, like I said earlier, that it will probably be up to devs to actually patch games to make sure that they actually work on the PS5, because obviously you don't want to be able like go to play a game and then it doesn't work because it just doesn't fit with the technology of the PS5. Like, it will play, but it just won't play as it's supposed to. So then it will be up to the devs to sort that out. So obviously what they're doing right now is just pushing for as many games as they can, which is, like they said, is their top 100, so their most popular games, for them to be able to play. And then from then on they'll probably add games as it goes along. But yeah, I just think I am so disappointed in the fact that they have ignored the fans yet again, and my PlayStation 1, 2 and 3 games are just sat there gathering dust. Sometimes I dust off the PlayStation 3 that I've got, but again, like I said, I don't really play as much on my PS3, one because my son's probably broken it now already, but I think the PlayStation era wasn't really my era for games so much. There was a few, like obviously like with Uncharted, but then now I've got the PlayStation 4 collector's edition of all of them remastered, so there's no point in me playing that on the PlayStation 3. I have Assassin's Creed, but again I've got those I think remastered for the PlayStation 4, so there's not like on PlayStation 3 all the crappy Tomb Raiders that I didn't like anyway. So again, I've not got any real PlayStation 3 games for me to go back and play anymore. None that I'm really sort of like super excited about playing again anyway. So for me, yeah, like the PlayStation 2 and PS1 games just sat there gathering dust, and I hate it because there's so many classic PlayStation 1 games that I would love to play again. Again, considering like Crystal Dynamics just refuse outright to remaster like the classic Tomb Raiders because it's not their games, therefore they're not interested. So fans are really missing out, and I just think that Sony could so cash in on this if they just made like, I'm still hoping that they'll see the backlash that they're getting in terms of, you're just giving us PlayStation 4 games to play. That's not exactly what people want when they say backwards compatible. And hopefully they see as well like what Xbox is doing. But with Xbox, I think again my husband was trying to explain it to me and it just goes over my head. But Xbox have kind of kept things kind of the same. They've just obviously updated it a bit, but the technology has changed so much between the PS1 and the PS4 now, or soon to be PS5, that's why it just physically can't do it without adding something into it that would actually be able to read the PS1, PS2 and PS3 games. So I'm still hoping, like I said, that like how they've done it before that. In fact, we had the PS4, and then we have the PS4 Pro. So I'm hoping that we'll get the initial release of a PS5 where you'll just be able to play like PS4 and PS4 Pro games. But then in like a couple of years down the line, they'll release just this absolute beast of the PlayStation 5 where they have the emulator in it that can actually read just make it so that you can actually play your previous games. Obviously it will probably be super expensive, like say like, I can't even remember, I'm pretty sure like the figure that always sticks in my head is £350 for like when you buy a console at launch. So even if like the not very special, like the basic PlayStation 5 is 350, and they make the like uber beast PlayStation 5 that is definitely backwards compatible, make that £500 or whatever, because obviously they have to pay for the extra tech that goes into it, people will buy it because it's what people want. And it just so frustrates me that Sony is just like, yeah, no, it costs us too much money, we're not interested. Even though your fans are begging for it, we just don't care, we just know it's going to cost us too much money. And it's like, oh, for God's sake, I just want to be able to play my PlayStation 1 games again. Is that like such a big ask? It's not. I just really want to be able to play them, and I feel really sad that I can't. I was hoping this video was going to be longer, but again, we're relying on me like being actually geeky and techie minded, which I'm not. I just like to play games. But anyway, I'm sure we'll probably try and see if we can get the PS5 at launch, considering we'll probably be stuck in this house still and need something else to play. We'll be saving money from not going to restaurants and cafes now, at least, because they're all shut. So so there's that. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. Did you actually understand any of the things that I was going on about? Are you going to be buying PlayStation 5 on launch, or are you holding out like me for the fact that they actually might release one eventually that will be fully backwards compatible? Like, yeah, just start a discussion down below. It'd be really interesting to hear what you guys have to say. On that note, I'll just say you've seen my social media handles probably going along the screen, so please please follow me on social media. You'll also see I'll put them in the description below, so you can click on them easily from there. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and if you didn't like it, don't give it a like. But please share if you do enjoy the video, and if you really do like my stuff, then please do subscribe. That would be lovely. And you can also donate money to me on Patreon, because every little helps. And on that note, I shall say that I love you guys, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye!